Hello, I'm gonna go ahead and try to style this Texas sage before it starts raining. Just wanted to give a little bit of a close up first before I try to go back a little bit more. So I got this one because it actually has a really decent trunk to it. Of course, there's going to have to be a lot of work in terms of encouraging back budding and stuff like that. But I've been pretty fortunate that it hasn't really lost that much of its internal growth, so I might be able to cut back quite a bit without risking losing too much of the actual plant. So there's many directions that I can probably go with it down here, but I do like that there's just this really nice curving trunk and stuff like that. I think probably the way that I'll probably deal with um, the actual styling. Let's see, this looks like a pretty good front. We've got lots of motion in the trunk, and we also have, a decent root spread. Let's see if we keep on going. This is also kind of an interesting one. You have the trunk, which is getting a lot more curve action going, lots of motion there. Let's see if there's this angle as well. I also like the fact that this trunk is just really twisty. You look at the bark and it just has all this twisting motion to it in general. So that's a really neat thing about it, and I hope that I can continue to accentuate that in the training of this tree. Now, these trees aren't that popular for bonsai, but we have a lot of them here in Houston, especially. They grow really easily, so I figured it might be something worth trying. I actually do have another one that I styled a little bit prematurely, and it's growing really slowly, and I'm not too sure what it's going to turn into, but at the very least, I can kind of give this another go now with quite a bit more knowledge. So I think I'm going to end up using this as the front, um, just because I really like the motion that's there. Of course, I'm going to have to do a lot of branch selection and especially picking out a leader. So, of course, later on in the development, I might actually pick something possibly a little bit different. But for now, let me go ahead and just put my little marker here just as kind of a reminder of where it is. And we'll see this transform hopefully into a more compact tree as opposed to this gnarly shrub. trick called the paper bag trick, but today I'll use a white paper, or it's actually bonsai instructions, but I'll just use the back side of this printout. You can actually just cover the part that you want to cut off and see if that actually, you can get kind of a relative view of how it's going to look when you do that. I think I am going to cut that off. If you kind of look at it here, you can kind of see, you kind of have the focus just more on these branches then. Whereas with these, it looks a little bit more crowded. Alright, so this is a major cut. Channeling Nigel Saunders. So here I go. There we go. And I think I am going to get rid of this bottom branch as well. First of all, it's going into the canopy. Of course, there's not much of a canopy to begin with, but this one is going into what would become the canopy. And so it would cause a little bit more problems later on down the line, because it will kind of restrict the amount of air that can flow through the plant and not really give it enough ventilation, basically. And it can also mean that there'll be some other branches that'll be shielded away from the light afterwards. And I also have this back branch right here, which I might develop a little bit more, just to be able to give a little bit more depth to the whole tree, to the tree as a whole. So here I go with this one. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this branch as well. It's crossing. It's not really going to do much, even if it is developed better. So there it goes. That's just adding that, those structural cuts actually really helps me with really seeing a lot more about how this tree is going to look. So let's kind of start with the front of the tree. So I think that's going to develop into an interesting scar there. Might even look like maybe the, the really old tree from Pocahontas or something like that. Nice thick trunk. There's a leader going off to the left, at least the one that I observe as a leader. Maybe I'll figure something else out. Of course, it's got some growth still at the very top. But there's some tiny back buds kind of going along it as well, so I'm really hopeful of this whole thing kind of just back budding a little bit more, maybe with more sunshine and stuff like that. It'll actually help it. And here's some different views. You can keep on turning it around a little bit more. Just interesting branches going on. Hopefully I can develop them into interesting things. Here's the back of the tree. Also pretty interesting. Another possibility could be even to do like a cascade or something like that, maybe if I have it like, off to the side, but I don't know. I think I have enough sort of cascade developments going on, some of which I haven't really shown to anybody yet, so they're just here in secret in my backyard. Maybe I'll do another little garden tour soon and you can kind of see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. and I hope that you have a great spring despite being in quarantine. Hopefully, you can still enjoy the nature that's just around you, um, if not actually going really far away from your home. Please remember to like and subscribe and to share this with anybody you feel might benefit from watching something like this. Thank you.